Hello everyone. In this lecture, we will learn the key concepts and terminologies of Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. So let's go one by one. First is bare metal host. Bare metal host is nothing but it's a Oracle infrastructure provides with control of physical machine, which we call as bare metal. Bare metal compute instance directly runs on the bare metal servers without a hypervisor. When you provision a bare metal compute instance, you should maintain sole control of the physical CPU, memory, network interface card. You can configure and utilize the full capabilities of each physical machine as if it is where hardware running in your data center. You do not share the physical machine with any other tenants. So bare metal is a compute machine in which you completely own the hardware, memory, network interface card and everything. It's like an on-premise services which you have in our on-premise model. So the entire server and resources will be owned by you, and it is a dedicated server. So it will not be shared with any other tenants. Uh, and the responsibility of managing the memory, CPU, network interface card, and the hardware is completely owned by the customer. Next, let's come to regions and availability domains. So in the previous lecture where we discussed about OCI infrastructure architecture diagram, so here regions and availabilities. So the region is nothing but a geographical area where we define design like where we have one or more data centers located. So availability domain is an area or location where the data centers are actually located. So it's called is nothing but availability domain is a part of a sublocation in region. So if you consider like India is a region, Hyderabad is it availability domain. So we have data centers in Hyderabad and Mumbai. So Hyderabad is one of the availability domain in India region. So the region may be specific to like any country or continent, anywhere it is, anywhere you can they can host services. So next, coming to the availability domains are isolated from each other, fault tolerant and very unlikely to fail simultaneously or to be impacted by the failure of another availability domain. So when you configure your cloud services, use multiple availability domains to ensure high availability and to protect against resource failure. Be aware that some resources must be created within the same availability domain, such as instance and the storage volume attached to it. So it's nothing but so when you create a resource like a few resources, right? These availability domains are isolated from each other. So if you take India as an example, we have one availability domain in Hyderabad and we have another availability domain in Mumbai. So if any earthquakes or disasters or rainfall occurs in tsunami occurs in Mumbai, the availability domain in Hyderabad is available. So this is nothing but the same. Like we have two availability domains irrespective of the geographical location of these available domains. They are separated with some distance, such that right the natural disasters or natural earthquakes or any other failures, the services will be available from another availability domain. So whenever you create any cloud services, you have to use multiple availability domains. So if you want to if you see a database, right? When you create a database system, you create the database system, primary database in one available domain and standby database in the another availability domain, such that uh, whenever your primary goes down, at primary standby will be available. So this is how like the disaster recovery planned. Yeah. So next, fault domain is nothing but it's a grouping of hardware and infrastructure within an availability domain. So each availability domain contains three fault domains. Fault domains provide anti-affinity. They let you distribute your instances so that the instances are not on the same physical hardware within a single availability domain. A hardware failure, compute hardware maintenance event that affects one fault domain, it does not affect other instances in the other fault domain. In addition, the physical hardware in a fault domain has independent or redundant power supplies, which prevents a failure in the power supply hardware within one fault domain from affecting other fault domain. So this is A fault domain is nothing but I said in the previous session, right? We have a region. In the region, we have 3 availability domains. So each availability domain has 3 fault domains. So what is a fault domain? Fault domain is nothing but it is a grouping of hardware and infrastructure within an availability domain. So we have 3 fault domains. So we within each fault domain, right? The hardware and power supply units are designed in such a way that if one fault domain fails due to some power supply issues or any power failures, the other fault domain which is surviving will be serving the purpose. So yeah, this is what fault domains. So next is console. The console is nothing but it's a web-based user interface tool where you can from where you can access and manage the cloud infrastructure resources. It's a web browser like Firefox or any. Once you have internet connection, it's a web URL which through which you can enter into the cloud console and you can manage the cloud resources. Next, you coming to tenancy. Tenancy is nothing but when you sign up Oracle Cloud Instance, the Oracle creates a tenancy for your company, which is secure and isolated partition within the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure where you can create, organize, and administer your cloud resources. It's nothing but a differentiation of customers or clients with their names. Suppose like we give one tenancy name to some company XYZ company and some other tenancy name to another company. So such that the resources belongs to one customer like XYZ will be residing in the XYZ tenancy only. So to separate or to differentiate or to give some ownership and to create some global ownership, we create Oracle creates a tenancy for your company. It's a dedicated tenancy for your company, so that under that you can create all your resources belonging to your company in that tenancy. So where you can create, organize, and administer or manage these resources. So next is compartment. Compartments allow you to organize and control access to your cloud resources. A compartment is a collection of related resources such as instance, virtual cloud address, block volumes that can be accessed only by certain groups that have been given permission by an administrator. So for example, it's within the tenancy, we can create compartments. So why do we need compartments? So if you see an organization, we will be having several departments. We will have HR department, we will have finance department, we will have employee department, we have like management department. So the access level of data should be restricted to the each level, because if you want financial data shouldn't be needed for the employees, or must be restricted or confidential, and there is some data at HR level which cannot be accessed by employees, and there is again a certain level data which we have to separate. So to distribute the or to consolidate the access privileges, we are creating compartments. So within the compartments, we will create the instances, virtual clouds, block volume, such as like etc. These cloud resources services. Yeah. Next, coming to object storage. Object storage is a storage architecture that allow you to store and manage data as objects. So data files can be of any type and up to 50 GB in size. Once you upload the data to object storage, it can be accessed from anywhere. Use object storage when you want to store a very large amount of data that does not change very frequently. Some typical use cases for object storage include data backup, file sharing, and storing unstructured data like logs and sensor generated data. So object storage is nothing but it's a storage architecture system. So in which we will be uploading we'll be storing the data, such as like we can use it as a database for database backups, or we can upload any files like if you take an export data from backup, we can store these backups in these files. So if you want to, like, it's like a Google Drive, we can say. So here we have to create some buckets. In that bucket, we have to we can upload the files and we can download the files from there. So it's nothing but an object storage. So any type of files we can store in that bucket. The each file type size is limited to 50 GB. Yeah. and we can upload these any logs which we can which we use or cannot be changed, like any unstructured data, like logs or generated data, auto generated data in the object storage. Yeah, this is the basic definition of object storage, but in future class sessions, right, we will learn how do we use object storage and how do we create buckets and how to store the how do we use the bucket for storing database backups and how to configure the backups in the bucket storage. So now let's know what is a bucket. So a bucket is a logical container used by object storage for storing your data and files. A bucket can contain an unlimited number of objects. So as I said, right, object storage contains buckets. So for each and every database or any resource, if you want to separate, you can create a separate bucket for each and every database. So, but when it's a logical container in which we store the data and files. So yeah, bucket. Once we create the bucket, right, we can use the bucket for two types. One is for archival purpose and one is for standard purpose. So stand in which we if we create an if you want any data warehouse applications, we can store some data for archival purpose. So we will be historical data. We use archival backups, and also we can use this for database backups. We use this buckets, and for storing database backups or database related files or database related data pump dump files. These we will store in the buckets. So OCID, Oracle Cloud Identifier. So OCID is nothing but for each and every cloud resource which we are using or which we are creating, we'll have a unique OCID, Oracle Cloud Identifier. So no, so we have several resources like compute instances, cloud buckets, and we have some tenancies, customer like users. These all are the different types of resources. So each and every to identify the resources of each and every in the cloud architecture, they have given an ID, they have defined an ID for each and every cloud resource. So nothing that is nothing but Oracle Cloud Identifier, OCID. For every user you will having OCID, user OCID. For tenants you will be having user tenancy OCID, and every compartment, right? If you have compartment, will have computer compartment OCID. So they like this. Each and every resource in the cloud has its own Oracle Cloud Identifier. So yeah, that's for today's session. So thank you for watching this session. We'll meet in our next lecture. Yeah, until then, take care. Bye.